Hello everyone, and welcome to my podcast, Advice to Your Younger Self. I'm Jeremiah, young host, industry giants, Epic Exchange. Today, I'm interviewing Yanni, the founder of Yiannimize, a trailblazing brand in the car customization and wrapping industry. Yanni has built a reputation for creativity and excellence, working with some really big names.
Aston Marigold, some of you guys will know him from JLS, Johnson Bahari. So we've got the man, Lethal B, Mr. Dench himself, Mara Falcone, Melvin Adoom, Kiss FM.
I'm excited to dive into his journey and uncover the key lessons behind his success. Thank you for joining me today. So Yanni, you've built an incredibly successful brand in the car customization world, but I can imagine it wasn't always like that. Can you take us back to the beginning and share what inspired you to turn your love for cars into a business?
Wow. Okay. So cars was something that I was always passionate about as a kid. It was something that I loved, that I enjoyed. But I had many, many jobs before I got into the car world. So I worked at places like Marks and Spencer's, a place called Do It All, Office World. I worked on the tills. It was a real weird journey as a kid growing up because I didn't actually know what I wanted to do. I knew I loved cars, but I didn't know how I was going to get into the car world. And then Rapkin appeared.
So it's like that was your section that you felt best fit for.
It was just something that I saw. I like the customization. I like changing the color of so when I had my own cars when I was young, before I had the business, I'd change my wheels. I would tint the windows. I'd smoke the lights. I'd put a sound system in the car. So that would be something that I'd do as a kid. And then as I got older, and then obviously the cars got more expensive, I was like, I need to do something different. If people have money, there's three things: property, cars, and jewelry. And if you're in those three sectors, you're always going to be okay because people will always spend money on those three things. So if you're an estate agent, if you're a developer, or if you're a jeweler, or if you're a car customizer, or you buy and sell cars, your client base will never have to worry about like the recession.
So it's really incredible how you've turned your passion for cars into a really successful brand. And I think that very few people wake up in the morning and like, yes, I love to go to work. I want to go do this. But the fact that you have that drive every day to say, yes, this is my job. I love what I'm doing. I'm going to keep doing it no matter what, 7 days a week, whatever. It's really incredible and amazing.
Do you know why I have that? So I go back to the days when I was at school and I used to live for a Friday where it's the end of the week. It's Friday. Brilliant. I've got the weekend. And then comes Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, I'm like, oh my God, I've got to go back to school tomorrow and I hate it. And I didn't want that in the business world. So I didn't want to live for the Friday and go out with my friends Friday night, Saturday. And then on Sunday, I'm starting getting depressed. And then Monday, I've got to go to work. So I wanted to do something that I enjoy. And even my staff, I tried to make sure that my staff don't feel on a Sunday, I don't really want to go work on a Monday. I want to enjoy what I do and I wanted my staff to enjoy it. And that is like the mindset I've tried to put into my staff and obviously myself over the years.
Right. I see how you find it better to run your own business and that it comes with your employees feeling, yes, I want to go to work. But when you're running your own business, how do you stay motivated and keep yourself on track day to day and maintain discipline?
I think it's passion. I think, listen, everyone goes to work because they want to earn money. And I get that. But if you don't enjoy what you do, it really becomes a job as such. And then it's like, well, I've got to go to work. I've got to pay my bills, whether it be my mortgage or my rent or my phone bill or my finance on a car. If you enjoy what you do, I genuinely believe you make more money in finding a passion. People, they do 9 to 5s all the time and they don't actually work on themselves after 5 o'clock or after 6 o'clock. So what I mean by that is you go to school, okay, and you'll finish school at say 3:30. And I say to people, okay, so what are you doing from 3:30 up until you go to bed at say 10 o'clock? I'll play PlayStation and I'll spend time with my friends. I'll watch TV or I'll sit on YouTube. Okay. And what are you watching on YouTube? I'm watching whatever it may be. But is that helping you improve? Is that giving you any knowledge? Is that making you more smarter? Is that teaching you about business or money or how to grow as an individual? They say no. So I'm like, then you can't complain if you're just doing a 9 to 5 job and you want to earn more money. After 5 o'clock, when you come home from your job, work on something that's a bit more. If you've got a passion, and you want to be passionate about something, you need to work on your passion. And everyone just, in the world we live in, and especially in the UK, people just complain. They love to complain all the time. And I didn't want to complain. I just wanted to do my own thing and not rely on anyone. So if you don't rely on anyone, you rely on yourself. And that is how you can actually grow as an individual and make money.
Right. So it's all about being passionate for your job where you're see your enjoyment factor go up whilst you're also loving the work you're doing.
Yeah, but it's not always easy. I'm saying it now because I've done it, I'm doing it. But when I worked in retail, I didn't want to work there, but I didn't have a choice. I'd do the night shift. So, example, I used to work at Monks and Spencer's during the day. And I was like, but I want to earn more money. I want to earn more money. What can I do? They said, well, if you want to do the night shift, you can start at 10 o'clock at night and finish at 7 o'clock in the morning. You will earn more money because obviously it's rubbish hours. Yeah. So I was like, I'm going to do that. So then I started earning more money. I'd finish at 7 o'clock in the morning. I'd go to sleep, wake up at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I wouldn't have that much sleep. And then I'd have the rest of the day before I went back to work on myself or to work on my own passion or another job that I wanted to earn money for.
Right.
You understand my point on this?
Yeah. Okay. So it's all about that drive to want to make more money that will put you in a better position.
Yeah. Listen, you got to be happy. You have to be happy. If you chase money only, it doesn't always work. I'll give you an example. YouTube. If you're doing a podcast now and you're doing YouTube, if you're not enjoying doing this and you're doing it just because you want to go viral or just because you want to make money from YouTube or from brand deals, it's not going to come across authentic.
Right.
You understand? You want it to come across authentic. So the audience that are watching you want to be like, actually, you know what? Yanni was really engaged today. Or actually, he was really enjoying what he was doing. I'm doing this for love. You understand? I'm not getting paid. I'm doing this for love for you, trying to give back to yourself and anyone that watches this. People chase the viral videos. And if you've got a business, and I say to people, so why are you chasing a viral video? Because millions of people will see it. Okay, but is that giving you any revenue? Is that making you any money? Well, no, but if 2 million people see it, you never know. Okay. I personally would rather have a video that does 100 views, but I get 10 customers on the back of it, rather than a video that does 1 million views and I make no customers, no money.
Right.
You get it?
Yes. A lot of people have things they are passionate about, but not everyone knows how to turn that into a business. What advice would you give to someone who has a strong interest in something but isn't sure where to start and make it into a career?
Stick to their job initially. So their bread and butter job that pays their bills, they've got to keep. Never give up your job for a passion. And the only time you should ever give up that job is when your passion is making you money.
Right.
It's not easy. I was fortunate enough that I found a niche in the market. It was early days of social media. So when I was doing this, it was called Twitter. You know what Twitter is, yeah?
Yes.
So this X now, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Instagram didn't even exist.
Yeah.
The minute Instagram came alive, it was like the best thing ever for me. Do you know why? Because people love cars. People love visual. So cars is worldwide. Doesn't matter where you're from, male, female, young, old. People love cars. So when I started posting pictures, I was like, oh, that's really cool. Like, follow, like, share, like, follow, like, share. And then when you start doing celebrities' cars, that is where it just went for the money.
Yeah.
Because if you do one celebrity's car, they introduce you to another celebrity who introduce you to another celebrity. And before you know it, you've got everyone in the training ground. Then you've got one football club and you've got another football club. And then you've got a musician, then you've got an actor. It snowballs very, very quickly. But you've got to be good at your job. If you're not doing a good job and you're not pricing it correctly, or you're trying to rip people off, it's not going to grow as you think. But because I loved what I did, people saw that I was like, oh, this guy's passionate. He loves cars. He's car crazy. So he's going to look after my car and he's going to do a great job.
Right. So networking seems to have been a big part of your success.
Huge.
So how did you build and keep those relationships with your high-end clients?
So networking to me is more important than anything else. I would network wherever I went. It doesn't matter whether I was at a car wash, I was out for dinner, I was at a football match. I would like to talk to everyone and never dismiss anyone. Never think, oh, this person's not really on my level, or, well, this person doesn't seem like he's got any money, or this person's not famous. Because you don't know, first of all, who they are, or who their family are, okay, or who their friends are, or who they work for. So I always say, network with everyone, speak to everyone, and the chances are there'll be one person there that will change your life. And do you know who my person was? A football player called Bakary Sagna. So do you know who Bakary Sagna is?
Yes.
He played for Arsenal, he played for Man City. So that's like my best friend. And whenever I do interviews, I always mention his name. Why? Me and him became friends. We met up. I didn't even know he was a football player when I met him. And we started talking. And then he was like, Yanni, I want a car. I done his car. He took it to the training grounds. And all the players were like, oh my God, who done your car? Your car's amazing. And he just signed for Arsenal. And they were like, oh, was it a guy in France? And he's like, no, this guy Yanni from the UK, etc. They're like, I want to speak to him. Next thing I know, William Gallas rings me. And William Gallas was at Arsenal at the time. So I'd done his car, and it was like a chrome SLR. And then after I'd done William Gallas's car, William Gallas used to play for Chelsea. And then John Terry rings me, Didier Drogba rings me. You understand? So now I'm getting players, oh yeah, Yanni done my car, this person, this car. And players love to get someone they trust. Because when you have money, it's very difficult to trust someone. So once you trust that individual, you will recommend them to everyone. And then once I started doing that, I've done JLS's cars. And then once I've done JLS's car, Marvin had a Christmas party. One Direction were there. I've done Harry Styles' car, I've done all of One Direction. Then you introduce the Simon Cowell, Gordon Ramsay. I can sit here and name drop all day long. And unfortunately enough, I know every celebrity on the planet, and I've pretty much done everyone's cars because they trusted me, they believed in me, I didn't rip them off, and I was always there. One other bit of advice I would give you, you're still a little bit young, but when you get older, don't lock off your phone at 5 o'clock. A lot of people be at 5 o'clock, well, it's 5:05, I'm not going to turn my phone off now. Why? My clients, especially the football players, would ring me at 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night, because they're in a hotel the night before for a match, and they're bored. They're bored. So what are they doing when they're bored? They're sitting online. They're looking at cars, they're looking at jewellery, they're looking at property, they're looking at things to buy. And they would ring me, Yanni, I really like this car. Or, oh, Yanni, I've seen this colour. Can you do it? And this would be at 10 o'clock at night or 11 o'clock at night. And I would do business with them then. And it would always be a Friday night because obviously the games are usually on a Saturday.
Right.
You know how much business I would do? And they'd say to me, oh, yeah, no, I missed this other guy. He didn't even reply to me. I would always reply as much as possible. And that is what allowed me to grow the business. If I just worked 9 to 5, I wouldn't have the business I had today.
Right. So you've worked with a lot of high profile clients, but out of all of them, who's been the most memorable or what's the best project you worked on? And why?
I'm fortunate enough that there's been loads. I'm so lucky there's been loads. Aubameyang was always a good one. When Aubameyang signed for Arsenal, I didn't really know who he was. And everyone messaged me. As soon as he signed for, they're like, Yanni, you need to get over. I'm like, why? They're like, he's the car guy. He loves cars. He's got 1 million cars. And he sent me a DM. Say, hey, can you come and see me? I want to be my car. I must have done 15 cars for Aubameyang. And we uniform. Wow. We've done them chrome gold. And we've done them in like a flip color. We've done his LaFerrari, which is a car that you're not supposed to wrap because it's just an insane car. And people got really, really upset. But this was at the time when Oba was banging in goals for Arsenal. So when you're at the top of your game, no one can say nothing to you. You understand? Because he was scoring goals and Arsenal were doing really, really well. So people say, oh, how can you do that? How can you do this? It doesn't matter. You understand? So Aubameyang was one of the players that I was like, yeah. Gallas's Chrome SLR, that was a real big turning point for me because that was in the paper where it said Arsenal's Chrome win and he had a picture of his car. And obviously, who you'll know, one of the biggest, KSI. I had done KSI's Chrome Purple Lamborghini, which is probably the most viewed Lamborghini ever in the world. And doing that gave me an incredible audience, a different audience. So I've got the young audience that people know me from doing KSI's car. I've got an older audience from my TV show, Yanni Supercar Customizer. And I've got a new audience now from Carwow, where I drag race the cars. So I'm fortunate I've got different audiences from different generations. I've got the young, the middle, the old, men, female, worldwide. So it's been an incredible journey. I love what I do. And as you can see, I'm still passionate when I talk about it now. And I'm 20 years in the game.
Yeah. You've really seen your business like grow and evolve.
Yes.
Looking back, is there anything you would have done differently in the early stages of building Yiannimize?
Yes. And that's a really good question. Yiannimize, do you know where Yiannimize came from? How I got that name?
Isn't it Yanni and Customize?
Come on, my guy. Yeah, exactly. So Yanni and Customize, put it together, you get Yiannimize. There's an advantage and disadvantage to that. Yeah, there's an advantage and disadvantage to that. The advantage is it's my name, it's my brand. Everyone knows it. It was really, really good. The problem is if I wanted to sell this brand now, it's very difficult because I've made it so personal to me. So if someone owns Yiannimize, they'll be like, yeah, but you're not Yanni, and it doesn't quite work the same. So I would have tried to manage it differently that if I wanted to sell the business, it wasn't so heavily reliant on me as an individual because the players, they want to deal with me. The big customers, they want to deal with me directly. So I've made it too about me that everyone wants to deal with me directly rather than my team. And as much as I have made it better over the years, the top of top people, I want to deal with the boss. So I would have probably managed that slightly different. But if I did make it different, I don't know if the business would have grown to what it is today based on me making it so personal to me.
Right, it's like it's a difficult position because you could either make it less personal but make it easy to sell later on in the future.
Yeah.
But then you might sacrifice different clients. However, it's harder in this position now to sell it on because of the name.
Exactly.
When you look at the future of car customization, where do you see the industry going and how do you plan on staying ahead of the curve?
I don't think car customization is ever going to stop. And even with the newer cars that are coming out now. So back in the day, this is before your time, where you see like big screens now in Teslas or like in Range Rovers and stuff, those things didn't exist. We had like a tiny little stereo, which was like this big, and you take the face off and that is how you take it, where you put it in your pocket so no one would steal it. Now, obviously, there's big screens, but back in the day, we would fit a screen into the car or would fit like a fold out screen.
Right.
So technology has changed a lot and the cars are now trying to do things a lot more. Like you have like B&O in a Lamborghini Urus, which is like a top sound system. Whereas in the older cars, you'd have to put a sound system in. So I don't think it'll ever stop. I just think it just evolves. So like car wrapping years ago, you would have like a satin black or a gloss white or a blue. Now there's thousands of colors. There's loads of different manufacturers. You can do chrome. You can do textured vinyl. You can do PPF, which is like paint protection film, which protects the car. So I just think it evolves over the years. But the cars are just getting more and more crazy out there. Listen, I've got a Tesla Cybertruck as well as a Lamborghini Revuelto. So they're two different cars. In the UK, they don't want me to drive the Cybertruck. So the police and MPs have said, nope, he's not allowed to drive the car here because of the weight and the shape and how it looks. And then we have the Elon Musk thing. So it's all it's just crazy out there. So I think I just see what's coming. I just try and do what I enjoy and I'll customize it as I see fit, and people will either like it or they'll hate it. A lot of people don't like what I do with the colors. Like I do chrome rose gold. How can you do that? You shouldn't be allowed to do that. I'll do what I want.
Speaking of that, what's the coolest car you've ever wrapped, or what's your favorite?
McLaren P1 in chrome rose gold, Aubameyang's LaFerrari in like a psychedelic color, my Lamborghini Revuelto in pink because my daughter wanted me to have a pink car.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. We've done, oh my God, Aston Martin Vulcan. We've just done some incredible super hyper cars. Yeah, do you know, I'm fortunate enough that it's been so many years now. I can sit here and there's just so many cars and so many customers, and
yeah,
it's been a great journey. I don't know what the next thing holds for me because I'm not sure. But the journey that I've been on, the people that I've met, the experiences that I've had, like I had, do you know Cars the movie?
Yes.
You know Cars the movie? So I was fortunate enough to have a speaking part in Cars 3.
Wow.
Which was just mind blowing. They flew me to Las Vegas. I went to Pixar Studios myself. Do you know who Maya Jama is?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So me, Maya Jama, Ollie White, and Ollie, what's the other one? And the other Ollie. 4 of us flew out there, and myself and Ollie had speaking parts with Lewis Hamilton. So that was just like,
that's incredible.
An unbelievable moment. Like money can't buy moment. And that is something that I would advise to you, is that money can buy incredible things, but the things that money can't buy, they're the ones that you really hold on to.
It's incredible. Wow, that's a really cool experience. Cars 3. I've watched that film like hundreds of times. Probably one of my top 3 favorite films.
Yeah, it's great.
There's a lot of talk about taking risks in business. What's the biggest risk you've taken in your career and how did it pay off?
The biggest risk I took in business. I don't even know. I'm trying to think now. That's actually a really good question.
Have you ever like wrapped a car and it's not come off the way they wanted it to? Or have you made a mistake whilst wrapping the car?
Mistakes happen all the time. I wouldn't call that a risk. I think that's just something that happens. It can be an error down to myself or down to my staff. Listen, if you set up your own business, that's always a risk. And if it's a passion project, it's another risk. Not all risks pay off. And sometimes they can put you in situations where you can't afford to pay your bills. And that is why I always say to people, keep your 9-to-5 job. Even if your 9-to-5 job only earns you £1,500 a month, keep that while you're working on your side project. People leave way too quickly their main job, their bread and butter, their money earner, to try and do a passion project, and it goes wrong. So I have taken risks in the past. I've lost money. I've set up business in the past that have either failed or that I've had to shut down. Listen, I've had a car wash, a hairdresser's, a milkshake shop, a car rental business, car sales. I've had so many different things, and people are like, hairdressers, milkshake shop, it's mad. But you've got to try different things. And as much as they were great businesses and they were fun, it wasn't my passion. It wasn't my calling. Cars is what I love. Like, you found a niche now where you're doing podcasts at a young age. You're learning to what it's like to be on camera. You have to react. I do what you do. I have done. I had a BBC podcast. So it's easy. People think, oh, it's really easy just asking questions. It's not. And do you know why it's not? Because you've got to be able to listen to me. You've got to react to what I'm saying to you. And you've got to be aware of what is your next question that's coming.
Right.
Yeah. And this is what you're doing. And you're doing a great job. So I'm really impressed with what you're doing. So well done.
So you said that you've been through many different careers and that cars was your organic fit. When it came to schooling, did you gain lots of like experience from that helped you come into it, or was it all like practical hands-on experience?
So school wasn't my my best years. I didn't like school. I struggled to study. I wasn't stupid, but my attention span was very, very short. As much as I was very good at maths was my strong point. I wasn't very good at English. I had really bad handwriting. But maths was something that I was good at. I didn't enjoy going to school. I found it very, very boring. I found it very repetitive. I didn't feel that I was learning anything. And when we have things like algebra, it's like, I'm grown now. I've never used algebra in my life ever outside of school.
Right.
You understand? And it was the early days of like the calculators and stuff like that. They were like, well, you can't take a calculator. Well, no, you can. I've got a calculator. I've got like 3 calculators on my desk. So you do, and you learn. But school's important to learn basic things. I just think the school system is old school. They're not teaching you about property, about taxes, about how to manage your money. They just teach you, well, English, and we'll read a book, and maths to learn your times table. Okay, yes, you need to have all this stuff, but there's no life experience there. And if I had 2 people in front of me now, and this person has got a master's, a degree, and got all the best qualifications, and this person's got experience in the business and the role that I want him to have, I would hire this person with experience. Because this person here hasn't got no experience. He's good with his accolades, with his qualifications, but I want experience. I want someone that knows and that's experienced the world.
Right. So formal education will benefit you. However, you value practical and hands-on experience more.
There you go. It's finding a balance. I'm not saying school's bad, because it's definitely not, but you need to find that balance. It can't just be school all the time and you're not doing anything practical to learn about yourself. Whatever. It doesn't matter whether it's in sport, whether it be hobbies. You need to do something else besides from just the mundane of school.
Okay. Earlier, you briefly mentioned how you capitalized on the rise of different social media platforms, but currently, what's your strategy when it comes to using social media to showcase your content and connect with your audience?
As I said, if you do social media and you enjoy it, it really comes across obvious to your audience and they will engage more. I remember I've shot videos in the past where I really couldn't be bothered to shoot a video, and the video had gone out and the comments are like, Yanni wasn't feeling it today. Yanni really didn't enjoy that video. So they know you can't cheat the audience.
Right.
So if you're talking about something that you're passionate about and you really enjoy, the audience will automatically engage with you. Listen, you can put this podcast out and it could do 100 views. It could do 1,000 views. It could do 10,000 views. It doesn't mean that you've done a bad job, but how you portray, the questions that you ask, how you set yourself different to everyone else is what's important. Everyone's got a podcast. Everyone's got social media. Why are you different? And that's what you need to try and get yourself out there. And that is how it works. Listen, every day people ask me to do a podcast. 9 times out of 10, I turn it down. And I'm talking people with big platforms are asking me to be put. Yeah, I'm here doing it for you. Why? Because of your network. You understand? It's your network. And that is your network. You understand? And that shows you exactly why you should have a good network. But other people that you work with, if you work with the right people and you portray yourself as a good human, that you are honest, you're polite, you carry yourself well, you're a nice guy, people will always want to work with you and help you.
So your character and your personality will really help you when it comes to networking and social media.
Yeah, you can't get your name again. I always say that. So if you went and took some money from someone, or you owed people money, or you used to always say, I'm going to do this, and you never done what you said, people be like, oh, he just talks rubbish. He's just the guy that's just not, you can't really trust him because he talks a good game, but he never delivers. If you portray yourself as a good person, eventually it will pay off. It may not be today, but you've got to stick to your same qualities as an individual, as a person, and always be honest. Always be real with people. Because if you're real with people, what can anyone say? They may not like you as an individual, but they can't say, oh, he's this, he's that, he's the other. And that is the world we live in now. Social media is brutal. And I'm talking to you like you're an adult. I know you're a young man, but I'm telling you as a real person, I've been through it all. Be honest, be real, and your true person as an individual will always shine through, and people will warm to that.
Right, your personality will attract people that are interested and really want to learn from you. I'm almost finished now. We're on our last question. Looking back on your journey, what advice would you give to your younger self?
What advice would I give to my younger self? I would say enjoy the journey, enjoy the process, because you blink and you're at the end, or you blink and the whole journey, the experience, the fun, that things that have happened, you forget about really, really quickly. And I think you need to hold on to certain moments. There's certain things that happen in my life. I'll be like, oh my God, I wish I could go back to that moment. That was an incredible time, but it's gone. So you have to enjoy every single moment, because people are very quick to just be like, okay, that's gone. And on to the next one, on to the next one, on to the next one. And they haven't actually enjoyed that specific time. So I would enjoy more moments growing my business, my brand, and in my career.
Savor the moment, because time flies when you're having fun.
There you go. You said it.
Thank you so much, Yanni, for sharing your incredible advice and insights today. It's been a pleasure learning from your experiences. I really enjoyed learning about your routes to success. I truly appreciate you taking the time to join me, and I wish you all the best.
My pleasure. A great interview. Well done. I look forward to seeing you on bigger and better things, because there's only going up for you, my friend. Well done.
Thank you.